It's the cold hard truth. Everyone really want to know what's going on with her show. Just get on the air and you will know it's Sandra. The queen of the mile road is here, helping people from everywhere. Get on the phone and you will hear Sandra. Now she will tell you how it goes, but don't you ever step on her toes, 'cause you will hear the cold hard truth from Sandra. They say she's the hero in town, helping people from all around. You get a call, your money is found, it's Sandra. Some will call her late at night just to say that there is a fight. And she will not just leave it alone. She'll get up and call on the phone. And when politics starts on her show, everyone really wants to know the way the things will really go with Sandra. And some will start to criticize, get on the show and tell pure lies, but someday we'll realize it's Sandra. When they start to argue again, she'll pull the heads to the wind, and soon you will be a friend with Sandra. 'Cause every day everyone wanna hear from Sandra. 'Cause every day everyone wanna hear from Sandra. 'Cause every day everyone got to hear from Sandra. 'Cause every day everyone got to hear from Sandra.
All right, folks, happy Monday. Good morning, good morning, good morning. How is everybody doing this beautiful Monday morning, July the 27th? I trust everyone had a good weekend. We've got lots of information and ground to cover in terms of some events that happened over the weekend. And we do have some representatives from a church that are going to be joining us this morning as well, telling us a bit about what they have going on in the community. I'm really, really pleased to hear about this. And I encourage other churches to please get involved in your community. We need you. We need you. And so giving back is obviously something that is important to do in the communities that we live in. And so I'm excited to have them join us in just a little bit. All right, so everyone had an okay weekend. We had a few accidents. I got to talk to you about some of those. One in particular has really been highlighted as a nuisance driver, and the residents in that neighborhood are wondering, what are the police doing? Honey child, we're going to try to get to the bottom of it. Instagram, let me just start that feed. We'll get them going here. And then we'll also send out all of the respective links for our listeners who are patiently waiting, no doubt, on 1 second here. Patiently waiting on WhatsApp channel to receive those links directly in your inbox. And I'm going to do that here now. So yeah, it was a relatively nice weekend. We were at the airport on Saturday morning to welcome Jackson Conover home. And it was nice. Lots of good people came out. It was a good crowd, I should say. And his mom was there. His dad was there. I got to meet his dad for the first time, Mr. Patrick. It was so nice to see him. So, yeah, it was nice to see him. Dad was there. You know, dads play such an important role. We're going to be talking about a case today. And I tell you what, I am a firm believer that you cannot replace a dad. You know, a father figure might not be the biological father, but you need someone in these children's lives to kind of add a different kind of disciplinary action or disciplinary balance and love. I mean, it's not just about the discipline, but the love of a father figure and guidance and everything that goes with being that energy in a child's life, the tag teaming that is oftentimes required when you're raising children. I'm not so sure anything can substitute that. And I know obviously there's a lot of single moms out there who do an amazing job. I'm not, trying to take anything away from their journey. But I do honestly believe that despite that, there's still a benefit. And this isn't just a belief. I mean, the research proves it, right? That there is a benefit to having a father figure in a child's life. So tough situation. I don't know what to say. It's tough, but we'll dig a little bit deeper into that conversation here in just a bit on the program. We're going to wait till our guests come in before we start to dig too deep into anything. I'm here picking out my curls, honey child, trying to sort my hair out. Because in the mornings it's a mad rush to get in the studio, right? So let me show you guys. Let me see. My camera looks like it's not turning on this morning. I don't know what's going on. Suspicious. It says it's been disconnected 2 times today. You may have a faulty USB cable. Oh no, not a faulty cable. Okay. Let me just try unplugging it and plugging it back in. Sometimes that does the trick. Otherwise, the entire show is going to be us looking at my little avatar. And I don't know why you guys like to look at me, but you like to look. Honey child. Some of you say my face is a whole show unto itself, and I have to laugh when you say that to me. I'm like, really? They're like, yep, we be enjoying that show, Sandy. I guess the questions and the thoughts that are going through my head. And, it's not always about who's on the line or anything like that, because sometimes I'm reading something that I'm just like, what? And so it just kind of depends on what's going on in front of me. Let me see here now. I'm trying to trace the source of the cable to see if I can determine exactly where it is plugged into. Of course, I don't see where it's plugged into. Let's make sure that all of my things here turned on this little USB hub. Looks good there. All right. This one has me a little bit stumped. Short of restarting my computer, there's probably nothing that I can do at this stage. Is it that important to you guys that you see me, or can we just accept that you won't be seeing me this morning? You'll just have to accept that I'm rocking my curls. Okay. Righty ho. I finally, I did have my antivirus over the weekend that keeps it fair. Maybe that's what it was, because I took it off. it keeps interfering with my camera, and I did uninstall it this weekend until I could figure out how to make that stop. So perhaps that's what is going on. I tell you what, I know you guys like to see what's happening here in the studio. Not that there's really much to see, but give me 1 second. I see our guests here, Miss Charmaine and Pastor Christopher. Give me one. It says Christopher. I think Christopher. That's supposed to be an R on the end of your name. It's an L. That's. I got you. It just threw me for a second there because I thought to myself, am I getting his name wrong? All right, give me 1 second. Let me just play a little music bed for you guys. And then I am going to just try to quickly, I'll play a video and then I'll try to quickly restart in the meantime. So give me 1 second, folks. We'll be right back.
My name is Williamson Henson. I'm from Thurston Caicos. I just completed my hip surgery in Health City through National Health Insurance Board. I had a dirt bike accident. I hit really hard. I lost some teeth, some metal in my hands. I had metal on my right hand as well, on my left hand. Glass still remains on my knees, and I broke my socket bone, my hip bone. I broke the whole socket bone. And National Health Insurance Board gave me a call on my birthday. It made me cry, but I tried to hold my composure. It made me cry because I was waiting for 10 months. It was on a Wednesday, my birthday, and they say this Monday coming, you're going to Cayman Island to have a hip replacement surgery.
When Mr. Williamson came to us, he had a 10-month-old fracture, which was operated at some other place, where he got a fragmented acetabulum, which was into almost 4 to 5 parts, and his hip was out of his place. Also, along with that, his right leg was shorter than left one by 2.5 inches, and he has a tremendous pain and was not able to walk and stand on that leg as well.
The first surgery affected my lifestyle because certain things I could not do for myself. It was all about crutches.
We removed the implant, cleared all the tissue, we put a new socket for there, and then the hip was replaced. And also we corrected the shortening, which was almost 2.5 inches, which came back to normal.
And he actually told me hip replacements in Cayman Island, you're gonna walk the same few hours. And what made me real happy is he said it and it was done for real. I started walking like literally in 23 hours.
Yeah, it's like a complex primary revision replacement. You can see that where you need to have some implants which are really advanced in the world, which we have at Health City. We have a dual mobility cup, which is a state-of-art, newer type of an implant, which is going to be making your hip absolutely stable, more durable, and has to function absolutely like a normal person.
I'll say a big thank you, first of all, to NIB and Health City caseworker and the host from Health City for communicating and well taking care of me behind my back. It was like every time I think about something, they already on it. It was my birthday. I was quite happy because I was waiting on the call to get the surgery done. But I'm happy now, it's done. I can walk. I just can't wait to get back to the kids and be like, oh, look at them. Thank you, Health City, for restarting my life with my hip replacement surgery.
All right, folks. Not so sure that solved the problem, but we're going to go ahead and press on this morning. We might make some headway here in just a second. I'm not seeing a particular message that I was seeing earlier, so I suppose that is indeed a good sign. All right. So let's go ahead and welcome. Like I said, we've got some guests in the studio with us today who are going to tell us a little bit about an important event that they have coming up. And of course, always looking for community support where they can get it. And the support is very, very important because this is a back to school drive and initiative. And I love when people do things to help children. So let's welcome Pastor Christopher Stewart in the studio this morning. Good morning, Pastor. How are you?
Great morning, Lady Sandra, I can't get the name correct. Thank you so much. I am doing well. How about yourself?
Yes, I'm doing excellent. Happy Monday morning to you. Hope you had a good weekend.
Thank you so much. And great morning to all the listeners in the Cayman Island. God bless you all. Thank you so much for having us.
Yes, and let's welcome Miss Charmaine Simpson in the studio as well. Good morning, Charmaine. How are you?
I'm doing well. Great morning, Miss Sandra. Good morning, Cayman Islands. I'm doing well. Thank you. How are you?
Yes, I'm good. I'm good. You guys look nice and bright and bushy tail this morning, as they say. So you've got an initiative coming up. Before we talk about the initiative, tell us a little bit about your church, because some people may not have heard of it, and tell us where you're located, and then we'll get into why you're doing this back to school drive and how people can help and how people can also benefit from it as well.
All right. Thank you for the opportunity again, Lady Sandra, for having us here. My name is Christopher Stewart, the senior pastor of Kingdom Impact Fellowship Ministry. We're
Mhm.
in Industrial Way in Georgetown. So ministry is around 6 years old. We're in Cayman. And as a church, we believe that ministry extend behind the walls of the sanctuary.
Mhm.
And it's one of our greatest responsibility as ministry is to serve our community with the love of Christ. And Jesus taught us that as we are to love our neighbors as ourselves, and we must care for them. And this event is one of the practical way that I believe as believers as we can live out our calling as a church and as a ministry. And I want us to all to understand that desire is to engage, not to engage, but also encourage families, support parents as they
Mhm.
children for the new school year, and to remind our community that they are loved and that they are valued.
Yes.
Yes.
Fantastic. Charmaine, you're a member of the congregation. I'm assuming a senior member as well,
Yes.
helping out with this program. So tell us why this is so near and dear to your heart.
As Pastor Christopher said, this event is a part of our mission to support the local families. And, we understand and recognize that this time of year can be financially difficult for a lot of families. And we just wanted to do our part to ensure that the local families or the local community is taken care of as best as possible.
Hmm. Fantastic. Now, I noticed you pronounce his name with the L, so it really is Christopher.
Yes.
I don't know why I thought it was Christopher, but there you go. Learn something new every day. Thank you so much. So let's talk a little bit then about the back to school drive and giveaway. It's going to be happening on this upcoming Saturday, August the 1st. Are you still seeking donations for this drive, or do you have enough goods? Tell
Well,
us a
we're
little bit about that first.
Well, we first must I say I thank God for the business partners who comes to help, and I wouldn't call them business partners. I call them kingdom builders. Being partner with us for doing this, and we're still accepting donation who wants to really give as we give back to the community, and we expect
Mhm.
a day of fellowship. We have a lot of school supplies. We're going to have bunks about. We're going to have games, and we're going to fellowship. We're going to have activities for the children. We're also going to have giveaways. We're going to have vouchers. Still working on some more, but we're going to have a lot of vouchers given away, just to
Mhm.
the community to give back to the community. And this is not just a giveaway. It's a where family together and build relationship and prepare for the school year and to encourage each and every one that they are valued in the community.
Mm, this is fantastic. So, folks, this event is open to all. You don't have to be a member of this church. Anybody with children can come out, and it's almost like a bit of a family fun day, is what it
Yes.
sounds like to me.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
Hmm. So you can come out on Saturday at the airport park. They say definitely bring the kids because it's for them, and they're going to have lots of fun activities and treats and school supplies to give away. So tell us a little bit about what's in the school supplies. What can we expect?
So we have our basic, we have our school bags, we have our pencils, we have our books, we have erasers, sharpeners. For the high school and middle school students, we know that they need calculators. We have a compass set. So your basic school supplies that they would need to get one.
Yeah, and also the vouchers that we're going to give away, that's going to be separate. But we have some vouchers that we're giving away. Is for parents to go to the uniform store to pick up a uniform tops for their children. So that's a way it's also to support parents that are having difficulty, even purchasing uniform. So we'll be having vouchers for uniform. So that will also be a part of the giveaway.
Yes.
Uh-oh, my apologies. I didn't realize that I had muted myself. Oh my goodness. We're off to a bumpy start this Monday morning. I was just saying, Pastor and Charmaine, that I'm sure people can come out even if they're not in need, because I always say to people, whenever I go somewhere, people want to give me stuff and I don't really need it. So I try to politely decline because I know there's so many people who are in need, right?
Yeah.
And we know what the good book says about taking when you're not in need. So if you don't need it, don't take it, but still go out and enjoy the time with the family, enjoy the time with the kids.
Absolutely.
And it's going to be a really fun day. Treats for everyone, really.
Yes.
So yeah, this is a fantastic initiative. Thank you guys so much for doing this. And we do have a little commercial. Look at you, Charmaine, putting commercials together. So let's play that now for the benefit of our listeners.
Fellowship Ministries International invites you and your family to our exciting Back to School giveaway. Join us on Saturday, August 1st at 1 p.m. at Airport Park for an unforgettable day filled with free school supplies, fun activities, treats for the kids, and community fellowship. Together, we're building Kingdom Impact community because every child matters and every family counts. Bring the kids and let's start the school year together. We can't wait to see you there.
All right. This is great. Anything else that we need to know about the event before I let you guys go?
No, just a reminder that it starts at 1 p.m. and we look forward to seeing everyone there.
All right. Fantastic. So folks, it was joining us this morning, Pastor Christopher Stewart, and we also had Miss Charmaine Simpson from Kingdom Impact Fellowship Ministries International. They're putting on a back to school giveaway event this Saturday, the 1st of August at 1. I can't believe it's going to be August already. The 1st of August at 1 p.m. And, school starting is coming up here in just a few weeks. We're going to give you some details there. Location is the Airport Park. Bring the kids and start the school year together. Every family counts. Every child matters. Treats for the kids, fun activities for the children as well, and school supplies giveaways, as well as some gift certificates. So come on out and support this initiative. Thank you to both of you so very, very much.
Ms. Sandra, and I just want to say thank you to Pastor Chris for really supporting us during this initiative. Let me tell you, our pastor is well involved in every initiative of the church. So I just wanted to tell him thank you publicly as well as our other pastor, Pastor Kamala Stewart, and the leadership team. So thank you.
Wonderful. Oh, this is wonderful. Thank you so much. All right, you guys have a blessed day, and we'll make sure that we share this on our social media channels so that everyone will be reminded about the events. Put it in your calendar, folks. All right, so thank you to both of them for joining us this morning. Good morning to all of our listeners. We got Miss Stephanie in the house. Good morning, Miss Stephanie. Marshall is here, clean and straight. Miss Felicia Rankin, Dean Sinclair, how you doing, honey child? Olivia, Miss Marjorie, Strong Wilt. Patricia says, Patricia Blake, another Patricia, says, good morning, everyone. Damaris is here with us as well as Debbie. Miss Lucille is joining us all the way from the UK. Miss Iva, when she wasn't busy cooking up a storm this weekend, I saw that stew kunk, Miss Iva. How you doing, honey child? Morning, AJ. Yes, I had myself muted there for a second, didn't even realize it. Good morning to the beautiful Abby as well. Hi, Abby. All right. I was trying to get my camera going, but I don't know. We may just have to rock it with what we got. So everybody had an okay weekend. Oh, I had a rough night last night. I did not get much sleep because of my poor feet giving me some problems. It wasn't the most painful night, but I couldn't get any relief from what was happening was the problem. My TENS machine, I don't know, it just wasn't as powerful as it needed to be. And I think it was because I had put some like lotion on my feet earlier when I went to bed, some nice urea cream. And so that does wonders if you have, by the way, if you have really dry feet like me, this urea cream makes them soft like a baby's bum. So nice. But I think it was actually interfering with the ability of my TENS machine to do its job. Or maybe I just need a more powerful TENS machine. I don't know. But so I wasn't really getting the relief. So I was up quite a bit last night, unfortunately. I had to do my I did my ice pack, I did the rubbing alcohol, and I must have woke up about 5 times, not a word of lie, trying to get it to settle down. Ay. What I can tell you is chronic pain is no fun. Anybody who suffers from chronic pain, I sympathize with you. And I feel like mine is not even as bad as what I hear a lot of people describing. You know, it's something that flares up and it can happen quite frequently. And, I'm trying to learn just to cope with it because the so-called medications that they can give you don't really work long-term, and it's not worth the damage that it does in other ways. So I try to just stay off the meds. Okay, that did not solve my problem at all. What's going on with my camera this morning? I don't know. Honey chill. This looks like this is a problem for Marlon to solve. Oops, I heard a sound just now. What was that sound? I heard it. Did y'all just hear it? Ding, 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 ding. That's a little USB thing going, I'm here, but I'm not here. I'm here, but I'm not here. All right, I'm going to try opening up another app and see if we can locate it. All right. I don't know what's going on. All right, well, the show shall go on with or without a camera. You know, Marlon did set up another camera for me as a backup camera just in case, but I'm hesitant to use that one because I actually don't like that camera. But he did say, in the case of emergency, use what you got, honey child. So maybe I'll try it. Hold on, let me see. Sometimes it's not about what you like, it's about what you got. You know what I'm saying? But of course, I don't see that camera showing up either, which is weird. Okay. I don't know. Oh, well, I'll get him to look at it for me later on today. All right, folks. Morning, Miss Dorothy. Blissful Powell in the house. So we got a lot to talk about. There's a couple accidents over the weekend, vehicular accidents. Both of them took out light poles. The two. Oh my goodness. What's my car talking about? My phone. Oh, what? Stop talking about what you found on the web. Nobody's even talking to you. So yes, 2 major accidents over the weekend, and both of them took out a light pole. And boy, what can I tell you except thanks, CUC. First of all, the first one was on Friday night, I think, going into Saturday morning. And we got to talk about this one because this one is a little bit low-key interesting. And I'm going to tell you what I have discovered through my investigations, right? So there's a young, I'm going to call him, well, he's a young boy to me. I don't know exactly how old he is, but he's very young. And it seems like this kid here has a death wish. He's the one who crashed in the Northside accident. But apparently this is not his only crash. And this is why we say that he must have a death wish. Let me get you his name. I made a little note of it here. The neighbors in Northside, he's probably the reason why they had to put in all those speed bumps, honey child. They are so sick and tired of him. Like really sick and tired of him. They've had enough. They're like, Sandy, this kid, his name is Braden Philpott. They said this kid is constantly running into stuff. He doesn't care. He has this attitude of recklessness about him. He seems to love to drink a lot. And, unfortunately, his parents and everybody else around him is not having a proper word with this kid to say that if you continue along this trajectory, you are going to kill yourself or somebody else, which is worse, right? And so it is incredibly, incredibly unfortunate. He took out, let me see if I can grab the picture here, but he took out this entire light pole there in Northside. Did you guys see this one? Let me just see where the photo is. It might be on my phone, so let me just pull it up. So yeah, he took out this entire light pole and smashed up his car in the worst kind of way. And I'm guessing, since we've not heard of any serious injuries, that he's fine. Unbelievable, quite frankly, that he somehow manages to keep surviving these incidents. Now, here in the Caribbean, and my aunt always used to say the same thing. Aunt Lottie used to say, you keep taking the bucket to the well, and one day it's going to fall out. And so despite his track record thus far, what I would like to say to him is it's probably only a matter of time before your day comes when that bucket is going to fall out. In other words, your luck is going to fall out and you are going to find yourself in a lot of trouble. Before that happens, can someone please reach out to his parents? I don't know who he for with that last name. Obviously, one parent is not a Caymanian, but I'm really begging someone to reach out to his parents. I'm just trying to find the video of the accident here and let them know that people are well aware of the fact that their son seems to be struggling with alcohol. And, this is what this is the observation that the neighbors have made. And quite frankly, they are sick and tired of him. They said he's always tearing down the wires. He's I think, already smashed up one truck, now this car. And he's always tearing down the utility wires with boats and all sorts of stuff. I think he has some kind of boating business and he works for real estate for his mom's company. I believe his mother might be a Northsider, but I'm not 100% sure. But here's what he walked away from. Look at that light pole. Look at how that light pole just snapped. This is crazy. Young man, take it from Auntie Sandy. You're not going to continue to have these chances where you can just take out a CUC light pole and walk away from it. So we have some serious questions here. Anybody else in Northside familiar with this young man? We have some serious questions here about, what he continues to do. Tearing down the power lines and making people be without power is one thing. That's bad enough. But what's worse than that is the fact that he continues to put people's lives at risk by driving dangerously and potentially even intoxicated. So no bueno. Kid, get your life together. You seem like you're relatively young and you have your whole life in front of you if you value it. If you don't value your life, well, you know what's going to happen, right? You're either going to spend it in jail for killing some innocent person, which would be horrible, or you're going to end up taking your own life. And I'm sure your parents, whether you have an alcohol problem or not, I'm sure they love you and they don't want to see anything happen to you. But somebody needs to step in. Somebody needs to hold this young man accountable. Okay, stop the drinking and driving, allegedly. Because I don't know if he's had any DUIs yet. Anyway, he works in real estate. Apparently, he works for his mom's company called Shoreline Properties. Shall you can get a shoreline, all right? Get it together, son. Get it together. All right. Somebody help this kid out. Give him the number to Alcoholics Anonymous. They do wonderful work right here in the Cayman Islands. So yes, he 8 months ago started to work in the family business. They say he was born under the Cayman sun. Yeah, well, that's not going to save you if you're just not using your noggins. So I'm going to encourage you to do a bit better. All right. Residents in Northside, said Sandy, please. We are so sick and tired of this young man racing in and out of here like a bat out of hell, tearing down the power lines, CUC lines, flow lines, everything. And we wonder, do they make him pay every single time he tears down a line? Because it doesn't seem like it. And they're wondering, are the police actually taking a sample? Like, what's going on here? So now he's an alert that CMR knows about it. And I really do hope that his parents will get him the necessary help that he needs. Now, that was not the only accident over the weekend. We also had quite a serious accident yesterday there on Spot Street. I haven't heard much about who was involved in that or, what went on there. But I do know it looked like a pretty bad accident. It once again took out a light pole. And I'm trying to get some details on the North Side accident, how quickly CUC was able to restore power there. But what I can tell you is that the one in Spots yesterday, they did a phenomenal job restoring power to that one very, very quickly. I mean, I was like, wow, that was quick given the amount of damage that happened. Someone says Cayman really needs a demerit/point system for these drivers. And I agree with that 1,000%. We really need something in place. So let me just see here now. Yeah, so this one was quite unfortunate. Again, the person, for whatever reason, we haven't heard of any details on this one yet, lost control of their vehicle and took out a light pole. Those poor CUC poles, I wonder how much they cost. Have you ever wondered what is the cost of repairing and not repairing? Because when you take them out, honey child, you got to just, that's a replacement. That's not a repair job. I'm trying to find the photo that we had here of that one. Who sent me that photo yesterday? Where that was just snapped. I mean, that looked like that just, oh my goodness. And I think they're designed to have some flex in them, although, I don't really know how much. But I do know that they have some degree of flex in them. And, you just got to be careful. My goodness. Oh, here's the picture. Let me show you what this looked like. And we know people because we were visiting a friend yesterday and they were in the back end of Spots. I think that's still considered Prospect. And yeah, they had no power. They were like, yep, the power went out. And I said, yeah, that's that accident that just happened. And so let me just show you guys this one. Look at this light pole. Jeez, peace. I mean, right into the light pole. And as you can see, it snapped the top. So I'm sure they had to replace that whole pole. And yeah, so we do know that in that instance, the power went out at Let me tell you what her note said here. At 5:15 p.m., because of a damaged pole, the car accident happened then. By 5:45, so within half an hour, CUC emergency crews were able to restore 80% of affected customers, with the remainder out of service in the vicinity of the damaged pole, and the repairs were conducted and completed, and all customers were restored by 7:45 p.m. Not for nothing, but CUC must have a whole stack of extra light poles on hand. And we thank them for always working so expeditiously to, get the poles restored. My apologies, the poles replaced and the service restored as quickly as possible. So I want to show you guys something, because when I shared that incident in the group, someone then shared these poles, and I haven't seen them personally. And I wonder if you have. Oops. Give me 1 second here. So let me just show you. Have you guys seen some CUC poles that have this protective, this thing here, that have this protective base at the bottom? It looks like it's made out of plastic. So someone shared it, and I think it was the Windsor Park group. There it is. That's plastic or concrete? Let me try to find out. I think it's plastic, but I'm not sure. Let me find out here. But I understand that the NRA has put these up, and let me get you some details here. They look like a hard plastic. Yeah. Okay. So I understand that the NRA has installed these at certain locations on island. And first time I was seeing them was yesterday in this photo. So here's what we have been told in relation to these, is that apparently the NRA has installed them. Let me see here. They are trying, it's like a trial run. So they've installed them in the area that they widen the road. Right? Widen the road where? Is this by, let me try to figure out where this is. Is this by Kings? I'll have to find out. But basically, instead of asking CUC to relocate the poles, they decided to install these instead. I think I need to go see the functionality of this. But let me confirm the location. And I can't quite make out where this is, actually. Where they've widened the road. Oh, I see that tower in the background. Is that Newlands? You see in this one picture, there's an actual tower in the background. That makes me think that this is Newlands. Hold on, let me show you. See that tower back there? This might be the Newlands. Is this the Newlands bypass? I'm not sure. Has anybody seen these? I'm not sure. Spot Straight, at the beginning of Spot Straight. But have they widened Spot Straight? I didn't think they widened Spot Straight. All right, let me get some more details on where these are. But for those of you listening on the radio, okay. Yeah. So the new road from Kings to Grand Harbor runs behind Medak and Country in Western. Oh, I have not been on this road. That's why I would not have seen it. Okay. But that new road had light poles there already? I'm confused. How did they get light poles there? Okay. I've not been down that road. It looks like Grand Harbor off of Grand Isle. Yes, that is behind Lion Center. Ooh, I've not been there at all. Oh, it looks like Looks like that's interesting. Okay. I may have to take I didn't think, is that road actually open? Like you can drive it? So someone was saying that it would be beneficial for CUC to install on every light pole. So I just want to clarify, it's not CUC who's doing that. It's the National Roads Authority. Oh yes, so on the back road, the new back road behind King's Gym that takes you to Grand Harbor, and on North Side Road going to Kai, I guess that's Cayman Kai, about a half after the North Side, maybe half a mile after the North Side dock. What do you guys think about this? Would you want to see every light pole with one of these? I mean, I don't think they're particularly aesthetically pleasing. I mean, I know aesthetics is probably the least of our worries on the roadway, but they're low-key ugly. So radio listeners, this is some sort of a barrier at the bottom of the light pole. It's very bright yellow and red. And is the sole purpose then to prevent people from running into it? Or is there some other reason why it's there? Because apparently, instead of asking CUC to move poles, they have put these there instead. Let me ask my little AI assistant here, AKA Samantha, what she can tell us about this device. It's wrapping around the bottom of the pole. It looks quite large in the picture, which sometimes I know photos have a way of enlarging something and it's not necessarily that big, but this looks pretty big. I mean, the pole's dead in the middle. Skinny little pole. Those look like the metal poles as well. And then this, surrounds the body at the bottom. So this appears to be, thank you, AI, you're so wonderful. This appears to be a Rapture style crash cushion installed around a utility pole close to the roadway. Its purpose is to absorb some of the energy if a vehicle strikes the pole, okay, reduce the severity of injuries and vehicle damage, really, okay, help prevent the pole from being knocked down, potentially avoiding power outages, and makes the roadside hazard more visible, especially at night, through the red reflective strips. Does that mean that we have poles there but no electricity on the road? All right, well, let's continue to read, see what AI Samantha has to say. According to Sam, these systems contain energy-absorbing plastic components, I thought it was plastic, and are designed mainly for lower speed impacts. Now y'all know you're not driving slow, but anyway, let's see. The manufacturer says that the Raptor system meets test level 1 crash criteria, which is roughly a 50 kilometer per hour testing environment, so that it should not be interpreted as a complete protection during a high-speed collision. It is a gating non-redirective cushion. Let me read that again. It is a gating non-redirective cushion, meaning that it absorbs energy rather than functioning like a guardrail that reliably redirects the vehicle. Oh, okay. So it's going to allow you to hit it, but not take out the pole. Okay. Listen, sometimes even AI has me chuckling, right? So this is what AI says. AI be thinking. Says one detail worth asking CUC or the NRA. How they know the NRA is in the mix? Is this part of a wider safety program targeting poles with a history of collisions or a pilot installation? Given the recent number of vehicles hitting utility poles in Cayman, that would make an interesting public safety story. OMG, AI, you're just too much. You're thinking too much. You're doing too much. Nonetheless, it is a wonderful question that now I will be asking NRA. Thank you, AI. Right. Beautiful. Thank you. Thanks for the tip. Okay, so we will ask what are they called? NRA, that AI question, because AI wants to know, and quite frankly, so do I. I want to know too. Okay, honey child. They're definitely visible, says this person. Can't miss them. They're behind Kings, the road by Harbor Walk and Hurley's. I see them every time I go to Hurley's. But you're taking the new road to Hurley's? Can you use it already? Oh, I might need to take a little drive. Yes, they installed them last week, and it's a whole development behind there. Yes, been open for weeks now, and no, it's large. Oh, we need to drive out, honey. I'll be just doing my regular little routes. I need to do something new and different. Take a new road. They're there to stop vehicles destroying the main utility lines. I mean, my goodness. What is the purpose of the barrier? What does it do? So lots of good questions that we'll be sending through to the NRA, but it looks like it's just trying to protect the utility lines from you bad drivers. But do we need those on every single light pole? My God, please. They're really not aesthetically pleasing. And like I said, I know it's safety, but can y'all just learn how to drive? It can't be that difficult to not hit a light pole, is it? Ugh, look at me asking such a stupid question. I mean, look at how many y'all are taking them out. No, sir. What a hot mess. All right. Emma says, good morning. Happy Monday. Thank you, Miss Emma. Morning, Johan. Those CUC workers work really hard into the night too, says Miss Marjorie. I mean, they really do. And I know that they, they feel it this time of year when y'all be going extra hard at them. And I just want to thank all the CUC workers who sometimes are even putting their lives at risk in order to repair utility poles and, do all this stuff for us. So thank you so much to CUC's workers, the guys out there on the ground making an amazing impact every single day. Morning, Michelle. Peter says there's one at the beginning of Spot Straight. Oh, I haven't even noticed that. When did they put that up there? Your first picture with the pole is Old Man Bay, North Side. Oh, you mean this one? Yeah. We were talking about this kid. Apparently he's always taking out poles, and this is not his first accident. The residents of Northside have informed me. They're filled with water to reduce impact? Catherine says they're a decent size, but someone will soon crash into it. Well, if they're going more than 50 kilometers per hour, what is that in miles per hour? That's not very much. Hold on. I don't really deal with kilometers in my head. Sorry, I grew up in the American system. So when I hear kilometers, I'm like, oh man, let me do a conversion. So that's 31 miles per hour. Oh, honey child, please. Y'all be doing that in your sleep, much less. So 50 kilometers is approximately 31 miles. Yeah, they gotta take him out. And you know what else they're gonna do? They're gonna go airborne and still take it out above the thing. I mean, y'all are just the worst drivers. Oh my God. I don't know what to say. I'm just get it together. Morning, caller. Welcome to the program. Oh, hold on, honey child. I cannot hear you. Let me just unplug it for a second and try to get the connection reestablished. Okay, let's try that. Hello, caller. No, I still can't hear you. All right, permit me to restart the phone. Give me 1 second here to restart, and then we can get you back on the line. I think I know who that is. I think that's my friend, the safety driver. Yeah. All right, give me a second here. Anthony says, why just not, what's that word? Something the utility provider to relocate the pole instead of costing the government money to mitigate the obstacle. Hashtag kiss my teeth. More money than sense. I'm assuming, are these not newly installed? I've not been on that road. So I must say, I don't know much about what's going on down there, but I've not been on that road. But I'm assuming that road is new, which means, oh, okay, caller, you can try calling back. I think I might have resolved the issue, which means that they would have just put them down there. So if they need them relocating, I'm confused about how that happened exactly. Okay, I think we're good now with the phone line. Good morning, caller. Welcome to the program. Hold on. Let me see. Yes, there you go. Good morning, sir. How are you?
Very well, thank you.
Yes, wonderful.
Cayman Island is in miles per hour. But when you have your kilometers per hour and you want to convert to miles per hour, you multiply by 0.625 and you're going to convert that to miles per hour. So that's how you convert it. Because 1 kilometer is 5/8 of a mile. And 5/8 is 0.625.
I just whip out a calculator, right? But thank you. I appreciate it.
I teach fast, so you got to learn fast.
Yeah, for sure. If I want to be faster than myself, then I just ask AI for the answer.
All right, so
yeah,
that's really a low speed.
That's not very fast at all.
No.
Yeah. So,
all right.
I don't know. Well, what do you think? Do you think we should have them on every single light pole in Cayman?
No.
Okay.
All right.
Thank you, my dear. Appreciate it. 936. Okay. Yes, sir. 936-2626. You can make yourself part of the conversation. Good morning, John LaRue. Lisa, good morning to you. How are you? Soka's always telling me that I'm mispronouncing your name. She's like, it's just Lisa. I'm like, Lord have mercy. John LaRue says just multiply by 0.6. All right. So apparently these are a trial, and we'll see what additional information we can get, such as how many are there and where are they located. All right. Another eyesore to add to this. I'm not fond of them. I haven't seen them in person, but based on this photo, I'm kind of like, they don't look nice at all. But I'm gonna take a drive down that road. Somebody said the road isn't really all that new. Obviously they're expanding it, but I guess it's been there for a minute. I don't know anything about. I'm like the worst person when it comes to exploring on Cayman roads. I always take the same boring main road routes all the time. Marlon knows more nooks and crannies and shortcuts in Cayman than I do. Like you know how you can go through Windsor Park and come out by, oh gosh, where does it bring you? Kind of by Fairbanks, like they just opened that bit up, but you could always have done a little shortcut through the back road there, and you can come out by. You can also go and access the close to the track and stuff. Don't ask me to navigate that area because I would totally be lost. Marlon, he always can find. He's like, why don't you just take this shortcut? I'm like, honey, child, please. I don't know nothing about no shortcuts. Just leave me alone. He likes to explore the roads, not me. I'm just like, keep me in the same path. Okay, we'll get some more information on those and do a little news report for you. As AI suggested, that might be an interesting news story. There you go. All right, let's keep it moving this morning, honey child. We got lots to cover. So as soon as we find out the condition of the gentleman in yesterday's accident, we'll certainly let you guys know. We haven't really heard too much about that as yet. It looked serious, but I haven't heard any details. So I kind of feel like if it was really bad, we'd probably know a bit more than we do. Let's talk about court cases. Wow, what on earth is going on here? So there's a lot happening in the courts always. I mean, literally all the time. There is something happening. So there is a trial that is going on right now, and we don't talk about active trials because We don't want to disrupt the trial in any way, but we will report on it whenever there's something to be reported on. It's expected, I think, to be, did they say 4 weeks? Anyway, it's going to be a lengthy trial. It is obviously, murder trials tend to take time. And we'll continue to monitor that. Let's talk about some of the more gut-wrenching. I mean, let me rephrase that, because that's not what I meant. That case is the ultimate gut-wrenching case for someone to be accused of murdering a child, and to think that anybody could do that is just unbelievable. There was another one in Jamaica just a couple days ago where a 10-year-old child was also raped and killed in Jamaica, and in the Trelawney area. And people were so upset about it that her death sparked a mob attack that left the alleged killer dead. So they found her body. I'm not going to give you any details. If you want to read the details, you can read the story. But they did find her body on Tuesday, I think it was, of last week. Unbelievable situation. So apparently she left home around 3 p.m. on Tuesday to visit a nearby grocery shop and never returned. And when she failed to come back, her grandmother raised the alarm and alerted the residents, and they went out looking for her, I think. And a farmer actually, who was checking his animals, found her body. So sad. And they said that they accused a man named Delroy Cook, who's no relation to the child, although they had the same last name, interestingly enough. He was reportedly chopped to death by a mob. And his father was also attacked. This is wild. I'm not sure how they knew so quickly that it was him. We like to see justice take its toll, but I'm not particularly upset as long as he's the one who did it, which obviously, that's why you don't leave it to a mob to decide necessarily. But I'm assuming, I don't know the details, but I'm assuming that they knew something, why they knew that he allegedly did it, if that makes sense. And so, yeah, they gave him immediate justice. This person here, Adams, CEO for the Jamaica's Child Protection and Family Services Agency, said that the agency was mourning alongside the community and that this killing is a national call to action, urging Jamaicans to reject violence against children and share responsibility for their safety. She goes on to say that this is a turning point for Jamaica, and we must cultivate an environment where the protection of our children is an immediate priority, transcending the rhetoric that simply designates them as the future. Each child is precious. Every life has immeasurable value, and every adult has a responsibility to intervene, to report abuse, and to speak up and to act. I really, really wish that one day all children could be free from this type of violence. But unfortunately, I don't have much hope. The things that we see on a regular basis happening in our communities across the region and across the world just reinforces the fact that our children are vulnerable and they're at risk, and there are just too many opportunities, unfortunately, for them to be the subject of harm. And so it breaks my heart to see yet another family actually mourning the loss of a child, and such a cute little girl too. But we have to aim to protect all children. I mean, look at this little baby. My goodness, look at that sweet little face. Only 10 years old. Oh my Lord. So sad. I've got a 9-year-old who's going to be 10 in another week and a bit. And I can't even imagine. I just, oh my God, I'm so paranoid. The world, like having to read and report on all these stories. And even before I was in media, so many people have been victimized that I don't trust people. I'm sorry, but my nervous system must be next level. I don't even know what, but I ain't trusting nobody. You're not going to get the chance if I can help it. And nope. My husband tells me I'm paranoid. I said, good. Call me paranoid. I'd rather get that label than anything to ever happen to my daughter. Right here in the Cayman Islands, we need to be paranoid. Let me show you a couple instances of why. Here's this guy who's a repeat offender. This dude is like sick. He now needs, what do they call it when they throw away the key on him? They did that to my cousin Jeffrey because he's also a very disturbed sexual offender. Governor's lease or something, where basically they send you to jail for life. That like there is no date of you getting out. So this guy over the years is a repeat offender, Rodney Ebanks. My God, if we ever got a sex offender registry, this dude would be at the top of the list. So he's been convicted and jailed repeatedly for sexual crimes. He was sentenced again to 43 months last week, Monday, after being convicted of insulting the modesty of a woman and repeatedly breaching sexual harm prevention orders. Wow. So, they put these sexual harm prevention orders in place. And we're going to talk about his case now. But the summary court also imposed a new 7-year sexual harm prevention order, preventing him from entering parts of 7 Mile Beach area during certain hours of the day. Now, I must tell you, I am a little bit confused about why they only do them for a certain amount of time. Is there some restriction in law where a sexual harm prevention order can't be a lifelong order? Because they do them, it seems like 7-10 years. I've seen some for, I think 10 may be the most that I've seen. And I don't understand why. Are the judges of the opinion that one day somebody's going to wake up who is like him and just not be a sexual predator anymore? Clearly the dude is like a pedophile and he's got a problem. Anyway, his most recent conviction related to an incident back in June of 2024 in which he is found guilty of insulting the modesty of a female visitor. And the complainant told the court that while she was alone in her room, he appeared wearing only a towel before exposing himself and masturbating in front of her. Although Ebanks denied the allegation and took the matter to trial, he was found guilty. Oh my God, the chief magistrate relied on the trial court's finding that Ebanks deliberately exposed himself for his own sexual gratification and to insult the complainant's modesty. Look, this dude just needs to be locked up. There's no help for him. I don't know what's wrong with him. I don't know what happened to him. Someone say they knew him growing up and they never had any inclination that he was like this. Okay, but something not right with this guy. So he continues to breach sexual harm prevention orders, at least in 2 separate cases. They say he has a medical condition. What medical condition? Can't stop being a pervert? Is that a medical condition? Needs a kick in the gonads? Is that a medical condition? Because, I'd volunteer to kick him right straight in his nuts. All right. Disgusting. One breach occurred in November of 2024 where CCTV footage captured him spending about an hour near the Ritz-Carlton and Coral Stone condos, areas from which he was prohibited, because I think he actually will break into condos and rape people and stuff. Like this dude is sick. The court set a 6-month starting point for that one, increased it to 10 months because he was on bail at the time, and then reduced the sentence after considering the strength of CCTV evidence and his personal circumstances. He was ultimately sentenced to 4 months imprisonment for that breach. Personal circumstances still being taken into account for this dude? You guys have got to be kidding me. The second breach involved an incident in which Ebanks entered a woman's bedroom through a sliding door at approximately 4:14 a.m. Oh my God. How scary is that? The woman testified that he appeared strangely calm while she was left terrified by the encounter. Girl, too bad you didn't have yourself a baseball bat. You could just pop him upside the head one good time. As part of his guilty plea on that one, he stated that he approached an open bedroom door. Ladies and men, please lock your doors. Please. Even in these condos, you're not safe. Lock those sliding glass doors. And I wouldn't blame you if you kept a baseball bat next to the bed either. Oh my God. So he stated that he approached an open bedroom door, open now, and was confronted by the woman, adding that he regretted any distress that he caused. Really, dude? The chief magistrate used a 2-year starting point, increased it by 6 months for aggravating factors, and then applied reductions for his guilty plea and personal mitigation. The two breach sentences will run concurrently with each other, but consecutively to the 22-month sentence for insulting the woman's modesty. What a hot mess. So his defense attorney, James Stenning, successfully asked the court to consolidate his existing sexual harm prevention order into single order. However, the Chief Justice rejected his request to limit restrictions around 7 Mile Beach to certain hours. What? His lawyer was arguing that? Despite arguments that a complete ban was disapproved. What? Some of you lawyers really need to stop. What business would he have in the 7 Mile Beach area at all? The man is sick, and he seems to want to target tourist areas. Why would this lawyer try to argue that? James, what? Ew. Listen, I get that everybody, regardless of how disgusting they are, deserves some sort of a defense, but you could never get me to take cases like this if I were a lawyer. I'm sorry, I ain't doing it, and I would not be arguing for this kind of nonsense. I'd be there saying, yep, put his backside in jail. I'll help you. No, sir. Wow. This guy he's got issues. He's disgusting. Ugh. I don't know who he is, but he's nasty. KY asking about the person in the accident yesterday. We've not heard anything to the contrary, KY. So I think he must be okay. Looks like he got a good banging up, but I think he must be okay. Lavana says apparently he admitted to doing it. Isn't that disgusting? Oh, the one in Jamaica, really? Sonia says it's called Jungle Justice. Yep. Governor's pleasure. Yes, that was the term I'm looking for. Thank you, Anthony. I think it's time for this guy to go there on the governor's pleasure, which means that he's not getting out. No, sir. Anthony says too much powdered white lady got his head messed up. I know a lot of people. Let me rephrase that because I don't know a lot of people on cocaine. I was going to say, I know a lot of people on cocaine. No, I don't. I've heard of a lot of people who have a cocaine habit, and I don't hear nothing about them wanting to do this kind of sexual stuff. So I don't think it's the cocaine. I think he's just a pervert, and he's a pervert that has a drug problem. But he needs somebody to just, can't tell you how disgusted I am with people like this. Vivine wants to know if pepper spray is legal in the Cayman Islands. Unfortunately, not yet. We were having some conversations about it, and they passed something in Parliament, and then we never heard a single word after that. Anthony says James Stenning, he got Casey Lloyd. No. You're confusing him with the other one, I think. James Stenning is not a Casey. You're confusing him with he has his own law firm called Stenning's Chambers, but you are confusing him with James. Is it James? No, I know who you're confusing him with McGraw Tonner, I think. Is that who you're confusing him with? But as far as I know, James is not a Casey. But yeah, what a hot mess. All right. Morning, Sarah. She says, sadly, no, but hornet nest spray is legal, right? Yeah, that has a good range on it. Spray him with that in his eyes. He'll be blinded. He won't be able to see anything else to masturbate to. Aliano says, I have my level of perversion. What? But this guy is a sick piece of crap. What do you mean you have, say what? I have my level of perversion? Maybe that's not something you want to say, Aliana. You might want to rephrase that because I'm not quite sure I understand how to read that. What do you mean you have your level of perversion? That's not the term I'd use to describe myself. No matter what your kinks are. I mean, when you say you have perversion, that hits a little bit differently. Oh God, Lulu, we're not talking about it today. I'll check my bank account this morning, but she filed stuff. That's all I'm going to tell you. Idiot. All right. Morning, Sarah. Aliana says, I think I remember him from high school. It's not surprising the island we live on only goes to show you. Aliana, are you drinking this morning? Because some of what you're saying not making much sense. But anyway, Gabby says, just get a small spray bottle with vinegar and Scotch bonnet pepper and put it in your purse. The thing is, this guy's like showing up in your bedroom at 4 o'clock in the morning. You're not going to have your purse or your spray bottle probably handy. So just lock those doors, man. This dude is sick. Oh my God. No, sir. All right, well, let's keep going because unfortunately there's more perversion for me to talk about in the news. So we have a young offender, which this one is very, very unfortunate. This is Aaron Ronaldo Montemayor. He has been convicted of sexually abusing an 11-year-old and committing a string of other offenses. Now, I know there was an allegation against a 15-year-old as well, and I'm trying to find out what happened to that case. So I don't know if they left that one on file or if that one got dropped or what's going on. But again, one of our own Caymanians, very, very sad situation here. I know that his mother tried with him, I guess, as best she could. But, you know, wow. So he essentially raped an 11-year-old child. And he only got 6.5 years. Yeah, this is where now we need to contemplate some legislatively, some guidance around sentencing that's going to help these judges. Because they're following the rules out of the UK and this and that and blah, 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 blah. You know, our legislators can fix this problem where people are getting such light sentences. 6.5 years for destroying the life of an 11-year-old child is nowhere near what he should be getting. I am so sorry, but that should be a minimum of 15 to 25 years. A life for a life, as far as I'm concerned. And given how young he is, he's still going to come out with plenty time on his clock to do more harm. Now, the fact that he's attracted, he's got to be in his 20s. I'm trying to get his exact age because I noticed that the article did not have his age stipulated. So I am trying to get his exact age. But what I would say is he's got to be in his 20s. And the fact that a man in his, I'm going to use that term very, very loosely, in his 20s is attracted to a prepubescent girl is really disturbing. I mean, wow. That's next level sick. Have any of you been watching this case in the US? I think it's in California with this artist called David. And he also seems to have had some kind of growth stunt issues where he was molesting this young lady and he spells his artist name is like some David D4VD. I was watching something about him last night in relation to his like psychological analysis, right? Warning signs that may have been missed. And they were saying that he wasn't really properly socialized, and he was like he started his career as a gamer, and he was not properly socialized. And I find that when people are not properly socialized, and they kind of have like a stunted growth issue almost, where he's like seeing himself probably as an 11-year-old with that child, but obviously not, that's no excuse. That can't be acceptable behavior. And so this is just crazy. Like, I don't know how to explain this except to say that this guy, and I've met young Aaron, and I feel really bad for his mother. I think she has tried with him, but my goodness, he was in some kind of special school that was really, really expensive in the States, and that didn't seem to help one bit. And the government was even paying for that at one point. And I don't know why he came back. And then he started to hang out with all kind of company and was smoking and, doing the most. But you guys might remember him during COVID. This was one of those videos that it had gone viral, where remember he was escaping out of his house during COVID. He was actually convicted in 2021 of breaching COVID restrictions. Like he was climbing out from the upstairs and somehow getting downstairs. And so, yes, KY Forever Remembers says he lived here in the Marina Drive just before he got the Patrick Island. But before you get to Patrick Island, ain't he the same one who broke curfew when it was COVID? Yes. And so he was scaling the walls of his house to get out. And so very, very disturbing. This young man has no concept of compliance with the law. I don't know what to say. He's just, go ahead, Aliato. You can call in 936-2626. Maybe you can explain what the heck you're trying to say. Anthony says properly socialize. Explain, Sandy. Is that including homeschooling? Yes. So in the case of David, he first went to a private school somewhere in the States. I forget where now. But he was really bullied a lot at his private school. Then his parents moved, and they decided when they moved to homeschool him. And quite ironically enough, they homeschooled him in the type of program where he had no outside connection with anybody. So it wasn't that type of homeschooling. Apparently there's different types of homeschooling. And this particular homeschooling model, he basically just did the assignments, and he didn't have any interaction with other students, no sort of like extracurricular activities, no playtime, no nothing. So it was just like him and his brother and his very religious parents, who evidently allowed him to only listen to certain types of music. So it was just really weird. Like, I'm still working through the psychological analysis of him, but it's weird. The whole thing is just, sometimes you gotta really try to pick up on cues early on that children may have issues and seek professional intervention. Sending them to school, and I know Caymanians love to do this, right? We believe in sending them to like disciplinary schools. I'm not saying that there's anything wrong with that, but you might have a combination of issues. Some of it could be disciplinary, and then some of it could be psychological issues of abandonment and so on. I mean, I think being a parent is not easy, but you gotta understand that, for example, if a child is adopted, they may already have a sense of abandonment, that somebody, their original mother, did not want them. And then when you turn around as a parent and send them overseas to school, which you think, oh, I'm doing this in their best interests, they will see that as a further abandonment, if that makes sense. You know what I mean? Like, why don't you keep me at home? So I do think that you have to be cognizant of how children perceive certain things, and getting them professional psychological help is probably a very, very good idea. Yeah. So, yeah, there's a lot. But yes, in the case of David, he was homeschooled, and the person who was doing the psychological analysis felt like that probably played a role in his inability to really relate to people properly. You got to watch it, Anthony. It's a very interesting analysis. And they were looking at things that he said and the way that he said it. But anyway, he's accused of killing a 14-year-old child. Again, he was this kind of 20-something-year-old, started talking to her when she was 11 years old, got her pregnant at 13, and she had an abortion at 13. It just blows my mind. Parents, you cannot be giving children access to phones and people and not know what's going on. I cannot ever blame a victim or their parents, but I think that everyone should know what we can do to protect our children more. Right? Don't give children phones without your ability to know every single message that comes in and out of that phone, and also have a tracker on it to tell you exactly where they are at all times. I'm telling you straight up, you can't. There's one that I'm going to tell you guys about, but there are apps out there, right? So I think that, oh my God, such a sad situation, I think, all the way around. Now, he has a 10-year order in place as well for after he comes out. So he got 6.5 years. He only served 60% of that. So he'll be out in no time. And then he has a 10-year protective order in place. Once again, I do not know for the world of me why it's not more than 10 years. I have a suggestion. We were talking to some people about this last week because we're trying to figure out whatever happened to the whole sex offender registry, where we're at with it, and if we can't finally get this moved and done. Here's the thing. If a person, look, as a country, if we are going to say that we care about our children, there's certain things that we have got to put in place. A sex offender registry is one of them. In addition to that, in the court system, they have a number of specialty courts. For example, there's a juvenile court, there's drug court, there's the financial services. It might be called something else, but basically financial services type cases. They have a domestic violence court. Then they have like summary court. So there are specialty courts, family court. And the idea behind these specialty courts is that they will, I'm trying to remember if there's any other ones in Cayman, but those are the main ones. So they do it a lot of times for continuity. So there's a financial services division. Yes. So I knew there was, okay, let me show you how the courts are organized currently. I think we need to add one more specialty under this, and that specialty should be for sexual offenders, okay? They take a certain type and they require a certain type of handling. So we have family court, youth justice court, coroner's court, traffic court, drug rehabilitation court, and then we have family division for the grand court. So those are all the first ones I just listed there under summary. Then we have the grand court, which includes financial services, family, criminal division, civil division, and admiralty division. I always forget about that one, actually. So why can't we have one for sexual offenders? First of all, it allows for continuity of cases so that, you don't have all different types of, sometimes it's a chief justice, sometimes it's this one, sometimes it's that one. You get like a dedicated team of judges. Sometimes only one judge, like family court pretty much only has one or two judges, right? And so they get to know the cases, they get to know the individuals who keep coming back and forth. They're more familiarized with the cases. And more importantly, they also get specialty training. This is one of those offenses that requires, it's not just a run-of-the-mill criminal offense. They need to understand a bit more about these offenders and why they offend and how, they are attracted. So like this young man now, because he is so young, he should be doing mandatory counseling. And I don't hear anything in here about counseling for him, but they should be making him do some serious counseling while he's in prison that is specific for this type of offense, because there is a possibility that he could be rehabilitated. I mean, I still wouldn't trust children around him, but there is a possibility, but he's not going to be able to do that if he does not get intense psychological help ASAP. And I can't help but wonder what happened to Aaron. I know he was in mental health court. And so I don't know the full extent and nature of his mental health issues. I know that sometimes people who have impulse control, ADHD and other things, they'll stick them in mental health court. I don't know if ADHD is actually considered a mental health issue, but it might be. But we need a specialty division. Can we have a talk with the Chief Justice about this? We need a specialty division. Anybody who works in that division needs to have training around handling these types of cases. I know the DPP's office tries to get one or two people specifically who've had some experience with these types of cases to handle them from a prosecutor standpoint from their office. We got to tighten this up a little bit. And there's a lot to be done, I think, with it. Now he's going to go in jail and he's going to sit there around other perverts. I mean, I don't know if they're going to put him in the cell with this other one who's also an offender that we were just talking about. What was his name? Ebanks, because a lot of these guys, they're even ostracized when they go to prison, because who wants to be bunkmates with a guy who raped an 11-year-old child? Nobody in their right mind. So his options of who he might be bunk with might not even be in his best interests. So, they're going to give him this, what's his name? Ronnie. They'll put him in with Ronnie or somebody like Jeffrey Barnes. And, that's certainly not going to help him. They all sit there, talk about their own fetishes, I guess. Get him some help. Get him some help. And I also think that a 10-year option to conditional release, I don't think that's enough time. I think that those things, and again, this tells me how little the judiciary understands about the, so he has a sexual harm prevention order under section 48A of the penal code for 10 years. Let me check this area of the penal code, because I'm wondering if it stipulates that they can only do these years and not a life prevention order. Hold on one second. Let me just see. All right. So what does a sexual prevention order include? So a sexual harm prevention order, SHPO, is a court order designated to protect the public, particularly children and vulnerable people, from being considered a risk from someone considered risk of committing sexual offenses. And so it's a separate order from obviously your prison sentence when you release. So it restricts what the person may do after release or while living in the community. So things like not contacting or approaching a named victim, not being alone with children or vulnerable people, not entering certain places such as schools or playgrounds, using particular electronic devices or internet services so they can stop them from that, possessing sexual material, traveling within or outside of the Cayman Islands, engaging in other conduct identified in the order. So this is can be imposed by someone aged 17 or older who is dealt with by the court for an offense of a sexual or indecent nature. So apparently the Director of Public Prosecution applies for the order after consulting the RCIPS or other relevant agency, and the court must be satisfied on the balance of probabilities that the order is necessary to protect the public or particular people from sexual harm. So it says a full order must last for a fixed period of at least 5 years. So this now is where I think the legislation needs to be amended personally. So the law defines sexual harm as physical or psychological harm caused by the commission of a sexual offense. And they can also do interim SHPOs, which I've never heard them do, but they certainly should consider it, can be made when someone is merely charged and awaiting the final outcome of the case. And that's a preventative measure and does not itself mean the person has been convicted. So as we can see with Ronnie, he's constantly breaching his. He doesn't give a darn, right? So section 45A3 of the Cayman Islands Penal Code stipulates that a sexual prevention order must be for a fixed period and last for at least 5 years. I think we need to consider a lifetime order, because here's the thing. Again, this demonstrates that our legislators and whoever signed off on this thinking 5 years is like a big deal. So that's why they're doing them for like 5 or 10 years. They clearly don't understand the nature of these types of offenses. You don't just wake up after 5 or 10 years and no longer have these perversions. This is something, if you've studied this at all, you will see that these individuals, just like Ronnie, right? This is a lifetime situation. Ronnie not changing. From now until the day he dies, he's gonna be a sexual predator. Sorry, not sorry. And if you don't understand that, and you're only giving him 10 years, who follows up afterwards? It's only when the public is reporting, like in the women's group, when they're like, who's this pervert taking pictures of me at the beach and coming up to me and masturbating in the bushes? I don't even think there's any structure, even within the RCIPS, to keep a track of people like Ronnie to see whether or not they're compliant with the sexual prevention order. It's only when someone in the public comes forward and says, hey, this person is doing XYZ, and they're reporting them for breaches, that, oh yeah, then you jump up and, oh yeah, there's a breach, let's take him to court. I don't know. I think we need to tighten the legislation around that quite a bit. KY Forever says, but Sandy, even if you think you're getting help for your children as a child, you took in and you're thinking you're doing good, by that you really not, because they be the same one hurting your child even. I'm not quite sure I follow that, KY. You're saying the therapist? I'm missing something here. John LaRue says, please read your post before sending them to remove the bad grammar and make them understandable. Yeah, I'm a little bit lost on that one. I'm not quite sure what you were trying to say there. Do you mean that you take people into your home, like the kids, and they're harming your other children? Or you're saying the professionals are harming them? I can't understand that one. Inspiring says the counseling programs currently available in the Cayman Islands prison system, while valuable, are unlikely to be sufficient for Aaron's rehabilitation on their own. Not only that, but unfortunately we've seen, and I hope that there's been some corrective measures around this, but we've seen the prison psychiatrists themselves obviously having psychological issues, because remember, they were sitting there engaging in sexual relationship with murderers in prison, right here in Northwood Prison, not once, but at least twice. These English women that we keep importing in seems to have a fetish of their own for Caribbean murderers, so that they were engaging in inappropriate conversations and even behavior. Remember, one of them actually, well, she left the jurisdiction, but someone was fired and then had to be rehired for exposing her being in a relationship with a convicted criminal, not just a criminal, a murderer. So what kind of counselors and psychologists and psychiatrists are we even hiring in prison? What the heck? Inspiring says effective rehabilitation for individuals convicted of sexual offenses typically requires specialized evidence-based interventions such as cognitive behavioral therapy. Yes. And I don't know that we have any experts in this area, but we certainly need the level of expertise. Because listen, Montemayor is a young kid, relatively speaking, in his 20s. He'll be out in no time, 6.5 years. 60% of that is what? 4 years. He'll be out roaming the streets again, looking for another young child, another victim. So, yeah, this is not good. Not good at all. He's born in 2001, December of 2001. Caymanian. Lord have mercy. Really, really unfortunate. But I do know we gotta shape this up. All right. I don't know what else to say about this case. It's just really, really unfortunate. But the one thing for sure is, you can't have them hanging out in schoolyards, around children. When he comes out in 4 years, some of you aren't going to even remember this case. Maybe you didn't hear about it. That's where that sexual offenders registry comes in really important. So when he starts hanging around a mother with young children, that mother might be able to go, whoa, wait a minute. I don't want him to be around my kids, right? Yeah. Might want to think twice about that one. All right, folks. What a hot mess. Let me see here. Okay. Yeah. Now, just one quick comment about this case. I saw Beto. Morning, Moran, watching from New Jersey. How you doing, honey? Chow. Good to see you. I saw Johan. What's his name? Beto. Say something like, "Oh, why are we naming him and this and that, and almost like we're treating him differently than anyone else. Like we've named him and we have his photo." Let me be very, very clear about where we stand on this. Okay. We will name any offender, and I do mean any offender, that we can. If we have a photo of them, we will put up their photo, because we have no sex offenders registry. We will put up their photo and their name. And we want you guys to be very, very cognizant of who they are. Now, in a lot of instances, their defense attorneys are trying to get ahead of that, and they're asking the court to put an order in place, a reporting restriction, where we cannot name them and we cannot put any photos or anything that identifies them. I think that this is absolutely wrong. The court has been, and the judges have been a little bit too liberal as of late with this, and that is the only circumstance where you see us not naming who these individuals are. Of course, they claim that it's for the protection of the victim. Well, I'm here to tell y'all something. That is utter nonsense. We can report on a case and leave out any details that might identify the victim of a sexual offense, right? So say, for example, it's the stepfather. If we said it's a stepfather and named him, obviously you're going to know who the child is, right? What we can do is we don't have to name the stepfather. My apologies. We don't have to say that he is the stepfather. So we don't have to use that bit of identifying information. I would much rather leave information out of the reporting and people know who these people are so that you can be careful, because again, we don't have any protections around having a sex offenders registry, as opposed to not naming them at all. Right? But once the lawyers get in before the court and they do this, there's very little that media can do about it, except that I do believe that one day we're going to have to challenge the judiciary on this front. And if we have to challenge them, well, we have to challenge them and it will be done. I do see it coming because they're doing it with too much frequency in this day and age. And it bothers me quite a bit, because you guys better know who these people are, because they're lurking around. So it's not that we're singling him out. It's just that there was no reporting restriction in place for him. And so obviously, we had his name and we actually had a picture and stuff as well. So we were cognizant of who he is. So I wanted Beto in particular to understand that. So, I don't know. I have no clue why you guys are up in your feelings about this, but it just goes to show you, people are still willing to come up with these nonsensical arguments. Oh, well, why aren't you naming other people? Well, trust me, when we do, we can. And Beto goes on to say, and yet with him, who has known mental issues, it's like, let's make an example and post his name up big and bold. No, sir. No, sir. Anyone that we can name, we will name. Has nothing to do with any mental health issues. Obviously, his mental health issues does not play any part in his sentencing whatsoever and him being found guilty of this offense. So I don't know what degree of mental health issues he has. Again, ADHD doesn't mean that you don't know that you shouldn't touch little 11-year-old children. Okay, so let's be very, very clear here. You get no sympathy from me because you might suffer from depression, or you might have ADHD, or you might have behavioral issues. That doesn't mean that you go around molesting people's children. And there was another case with a 15-year-old. I need to try and find out what happened with that one. So it seems like we already have in our hands, despite him being so incredibly young, he seems to want to offend, only 24 years old, and he seems to want to continue to target much younger children. And that has to be stopped. So, you get zero, points from me or zero recognition for this type of faulty logic. And it's not accurate. Whenever we have information on people accused of any crime, not just sexual offenses, but most certainly with sexual offenses, we name them whenever we can. We don't always have a picture, but where we do, we'll post that up as well. And if we don't have a picture and you got one, help us out. There's also an Indian guy in court right now. His case has not been determined, so I'm not going to say too much about him. But he's now, I think his trial has started, or has he been convicted? I might need to look this one up. For allegedly raping a woman in a vehicle outside of his workplace, I believe. So that's another sexual offense case that we are keeping an eye on. I'm here to tell you that, bartender rape trial opens. So we can't say much about it because it's an active case now. But generally speaking, these cases are on the increase, and we need to very, very much keep an eye on this. This is very, very concerning. So someone says, I thought that you were going to address this very low sentence for sexual offenses and rape cases. I think I have this morning. Why do we have mandatory sentence for guns, but not sex crimes, especially against children? WT. Aaron also suffered greatly. He was adopted by Melinda. She was abusive to him. I don't care what she says. Withholding food, spanking him for being a child, like forgetting his toys at a friend's house, stupid stuff like that. When she got pregnant with the little girl and she had issues, Aaron became even more of a persona non grata. He was not properly socialized. Oh, wow. Okay. He suffers from abandonment issues. Well, I didn't even read this yet. And what was I telling you about the other guy, David? None of this would surprise me in terms of his abandonment issues. As soon as I thought about the little that I know about him, it came to my mind that he probably does have severe abandonment issues. So now this other person is saying this, that he suffers from abandonment issues from his birth mother and Melinda. He also lost his father when he and Melinda split up. She even refused him to be involved. Was that the biological father or somebody else? He also has significant mental health issues. I think at one point we were told he was bipolar and schizophrenia. I'm just glad we're naming these persons charged with offenses, since the government is too slack to move with the sex offenders registry. He's related to Beto by adoption. Oh, Robert Lee, his adoptive father, is Beto's first cousin. Oh, I didn't realize. Okay, and full disclosure, he's the same person. He's the same relation to me by adoption. Okay, so this is interesting. I didn't know that. That's the guy that she used to date or something, right? Or was she married to him? I don't know. But I didn't know that he would have adopted him. Huh. Oh, that's why Beto's going hard for him, because he's family. Y'all need to relax yourselves. Because we don't play favorites around here. I don't really care who you are. So, yeah, being bipolar, okay, great. Get some help. Stay on your medication. That is not an excuse. So, nope. Can't help you there. But y'all better get some help. But yeah, I figured the abandonment issue would be something of grave and real concern. It can be, listen, to the best of people, it can be a real problem. Morning, Aaron's biological mother is just as bad. She has 10 children. Oh, Lord, have mercy. Good morning, Sandy. David's mom. David, you mean Aaron? Aaron's mom is Melinda. She was a guardian ad litem or something like that. Yeah, I think she adopted him. This person says a sex offender list would expose too many politicians, civil servants, and wealthy sick people. And you ask why it's taken so long. It's because it will never happen. Castrate all of them. Well, here's the thing, right? First of all, it would probably, in all instances, only be for people who are actually convicted of an offense. Although we're getting more and more convictions, I can tell you that there are far more people out there who are not convicted, right? Who are still offenders. And they're not going to end up on the list. That's why, on the one hand, I think the list is necessary. But on the other hand, I don't want people to think that the list gives you any false hope that that's everybody that's a child molester. No, those are only the ones that have been convicted. And there are tons more who are still roaming the streets who will never get convicted and have been roaming the streets for many, many years. So this person says, yes, his father was Robert. His adoptive father was Robert Lee Montemayor. I don't know his biological parents. I believe his biological mother is a blood relative of Melinda. Also remember that Aaron was born very premature, lots of developmental issues and delays that simply went untreated. This is the result. I don't know. And I want you guys to really contemplate and consider, to stop, just beating your children into submission is not going to help them when they're suffering from mental health issues and abandonment issues. Can I just leave it at that? So how Ronnie not in jail for life, like how they did Jeffrey? He has more incidents over an extended period, whereas Jeffrey only had one case. The inconsistencies are glaring. No. Jeffrey had more than one case, but I think the difference is that Jeffrey actually has more violent tendencies. And so, and the second he gets out of jail, he goes on an immediate rampage. And so, yeah, that is where there's a difference. So there are glaring differences. I mean, I get it. They're all sexual offenders, but still there's some that is worse than others. Maybe it's just me, but those 3 photos look like 3 different people. I have no idea who he is. Well, that's just how he's looked over the years. And that's the other thing with a sex offenders registry as well, right? As people age and they look different, the sex offender registry would be able to update the photos so that we have a real-time image of what these people look like. Because even this one from this kid is from 2021 when he was breaching COVID thing. So he might look different now. That's another important reason to have a sex offender registry with updated information. Marshall says the big reason why the sex offenders registry list is having a hard time to come to light is because some of the people who have to bring it to light are some of the same offenders themselves or have family members who are, period. I mean, I can't argue there. Bring it, legislators. YouTuber says one way to tell that a person is very aware of what they're doing is by noticing the effort that they put into not getting caught. Some of these people are toddlers or have a toddler's mindset. Melinda was married to Robert. Oh, okay, thanks. I didn't know. She's originally a Moxham. Yeah, okay. Where's Robert from? Where'd that last name Montemayor come from? It's not a very popular Caymanian name. So there you go, honey child. Again, it would be in everybody's best interest to try and continue to get this kid some help, even while he's in prison. We'll see what happens, but I hate to tell you, I sincerely doubt that this will be the last time we'll be talking about him. So not only was there the indecent assault and defilement and assault by penetration, in other words, he raped this child. That was all in one indictment. There were additional counts that he was there for, and a separate indecent assault charge dating back to 2021, right? Damaging electronic monitoring device while on bail. He got a 2-month sentence for that. A cluster of driving-related charges from 2025, adding other penalties. So this kid is getting in all kind of trouble. Not just the defilement, but all sorts of trouble. Wow. What a hot mess. And they do have a sexual harm prevention order in place for him for 10 years. Should have been 20. Trust me. Should be a life one, actually. Anyway, folks, thank you guys so much for tuning into the program. So just a reminder that as of Thursday, I will be on vacation. So we'll have a show on Thursday. And then we will be on holiday until the 10th. But all of next week, I fully anticipate continuing to have a show, because when I go away for the real vacation in September, this is Gigi's her summer vacation and summer birthday trip. But I will continue to work next week in terms of doing the show. And then so I'll be taking all my equipment to air it live. And then, yeah, so that'll be all of next week. We'll still have a show. Yeah. So someone just sent me this and says, this is what happens when you're addicted to the cold, hard truth. Let's have a listen. Oh my goodness. Okay, so he is in there. I want to know, when did he become a beekeeper or bee removal expert? So he's in there removing bees and still listening to the cold hard truth. What a mess. Marshall says, excuse me, but didn't you just come back from Ecuador? No more vacations. That was in March. We got one more, September, October. I know. But look at this honeycomb. Oh my gosh. So they're vacuuming them up. Do they relocate them? Remember the one I showed you guys the other day? It came out of Bay where he was putting them, like trying to relocate the whole honeycomb. But this one is vacuuming them up. But what do you do with the honeycomb? Do you just remove it afterwards? This looks like this is actually in somebody's ceiling. Wow. Yeah, bees can make a little nest anywhere. Oh my goodness. That's so fascinating. I'm always interested in bees. Wow. And that's a big honeycomb too. All right, folks. Tune in tomorrow morning. We got more for you. Wishing you guys a beautiful Monday. Keep it locked, of course, to KingManuelRoad.com, Instagram, YouTube, Facebook. We'll bring you all the latest news. Big shout out again to Jackson Canaver, because he's home now for about 5 days, spending a little bit of time with his family. And so really wanted to wish him all the best and on his little break. Beehive, not honeycomb. Oh, what's the difference between a beehive and a honeycomb? Oh, okay, honey child. Okay. Ew. You know how sometimes you see these videos of people and you wonder why we have things like Ebola and all that kind of stuff? I'm going to post this one. Will y'all white people stop playing with monkeys like they're your children? Kiss them in the mouth and all this kind of stuff? Get a real baby. My goodness. Some of y'all just need to stop. Ugh. No wonder they be spreading germs to humans. Oh my God. Anyway, let me put my phone down, honey chill. All right, folks. No, somebody else said, is that Arden McLean? He does look like the McLeans, right? Somebody said, is that Mac? Oh, you eat the honeycomb. Someone says, is that Uncle Mac or Gary? That was Gary. But they do look alike now that you've mentioned it, you know. So a beehive is the complete overall home or structure that houses a bee colony, while a honeycomb is the waxy internal material made of hexagonal cells built inside of that home. Oh, look at me using them interchangeably, and turns out they're different. Huh. Interesting. Well, honey child, you learn something every day if you're willing to learn. All right, beautiful folks. See you guys tomorrow morning. Have a wonderful, super productive day. And hopefully my camera will be sorted out tomorrow. Until then, take care.
Thank you for tuning in to another episode of The Cold Hard Truth on Bobo 89.1 FM. Cayman's #1 talk show is live weekdays from 7:30 a.m. Never miss an episode again. Watch anytime on CMR's Facebook and YouTube channels for the latest show episodes. Don't forget to follow us online on our social media channels. And visit CaymanMarlRoad.com for all the latest news and community happenings.